have to find this engagement. My core has to do this in order for making this pose easier for me. And so just encourage a lot of learning, a lot of just letting your body develop slowly. Yeah? Okay, so crow play. Please, please, please let me know if you have any questions along the way, anything you're working on.
So guys, don't be shy, right? Say, Brian, come over.
Yeah, so this is a good question. In terms of progression from what we just learned, if you crow is number one, if you feel good in crow. Second is playing with the jump back as the second progression. Third progression is one-armed crow. And then the fourth progression is jumping forward into crow. That's kind of how I would layer it on. Yeah. Just try to keep your body in one solid form and just tip weight into your fingertips.
Nice smile.
Nice. And breathe, maybe. And if you are in crow, and this is new to you, try to lock your feet together. So you're actually squeezing your legs in to squeeze more energy into your core.
Brian, I have a question. So I can do like crow.
Yep.
But what I'm trying to do is bring that back. Balance it toilet.
Yep.
I just can't seem to go
Okay.
back, bring my...
So the first stage is to just lift your knee off of your arm and play with holding that. Hold that and get steady there. Really steady. Bring your knee back to your arm. Get steady again. And play with that a couple times so that you can go in and out with a lot of ease of just taking your knee off and putting it back on. Feeling kind of that shift of weight side to side. Yeah. Get comfortable with just lifting your knee off a little bit first on both sides, and then play with straightening your leg a little more every time. Because once you have the shift of weight of getting your knee off of your arm, the sending back of your leg becomes so much easier. You're going to get bruised. No doubt about it.
All right. Okay.
Yep.
That was good, Sarah.
Nice. Good, good, good. Without moving too much in your shoulders and your upper leg. Yep. Or the other leg. Just shift the weight.
Nice, Catherine.
That's not in a good position. Oh, it's your elbow.
Yeah, good. Really good.
Right here.
Come back. Yes. Awesome. That was good.
Okay.
You feel that?
Yeah.
Nice, girls. Bend your elbows when you lower like that, though, too, right?
So upper body is just like chaturanga. Elbows in, shoulders never below your elbows. Anyway, especially when you jump back, same thing. Yep. Yep. It hurts a lot. Yeah.
Right? And then you're going to come back in and try to go a little further. And then you're going to come back and try to go a little further. You can shoot all the way. So, all right.
Work on shooting back before doing one
leg in? Yes.
So when you land, you want to bend your elbows.
Right, Brian? So you're encouraging after they have crow, before they do one-legged, to work on shooting back, then one-legged. Okay.
One-legged is definitely harder
I
than
agree.
shooting
I'm just
back.
checking. What do you got going on?
I'm working on my jump set.
Okay, one point of refinement I want to show people who are jumping back. Just like jumping back from your flat back, we never want to jump back to straight arms, because that's going to absolutely jar our shoulders. And for me, I've had 2 shoulder reconstructions. And so if I do it wrong, my body tells me really fast. Right? So I never want to have anybody go down that path, because we want to keep our bodies safe and strong in everything that we do. So if I'm in crow and I jump back, if I land with straight arms, I'm going to do it slower. And to exaggerate, if there's a lot of jarring action in the shoulder joint, which there's no shock absorber there, which is going to over time just kill your shoulder. So I don't want that for anybody. Anytime we jump back, whether it's through a flat back or from crow, we want to land with elbows bent because then they become shock absorbers. So I shoot back, elbows bend, and there's this kind of receptivity in my joints as opposed to lock, right? So when you jump back, soften, chaturanga.
Right, that's a huge challenge. I probably speak with every single solitary class, right? Like every single class.
Hard.
But people don't realize how much they really do need to bend their elbows, or that they're not bending them. They think they are.
Yes.
Nice job.
That was awesome.
It was really nice. It was really light too.
Yeah, light is good.
Strong core when you get light.
I never
No sound
realized
is the
that
best.
I do my crow here, and now that you point it out, I'm having trouble working it up. Like I can do
It's
the
hard.
jump back from here, but it's
It hurts and it's hard because your body isn't used to that yet. So you're pretty much developing like a callus through the backs of your arms. And so the first couple of times you do it, it's going to bruise. It's going to be black and blue. And I just claim that ahead of time. But after a couple rounds, after a couple weeks, your body's going to be used to that, you know, just like everything else. And then it's going to feel more normal.
So when he says shooting up, Brian, I find when I go to throw, and then I go back, my hands are too big.
Okay, so start with in crow with wider hands.
Which is so much. I feel like
That's really narrow.
I can just get up and no problem.
Yep.
This feels wide, and I feel like I'm using more.
Actually, it's not that wide.
Yeah.
It's that shoulder width apart.
So did you want to let it?
Do jump forward.
Yeah, awesome. That was really good. That's
Because then I feel like when I'm like this, I'm like, okay.
yeah. See, that's for you. Shoulder width apart is even wider than you think.
Two legs up to the side.
Yeah,
Because this I feel really stable with like
that's a really narrow base. Like your hands are definitely. See, your forearm bones are coming in. That's about good. That's pretty parallel. Yeah. Anybody have any discoveries or anything that's landing for them?
I feel like my shoulders are up in my ears when I'm up there. You get them back down when you're up there using all your muscles.
So her shoulders are up. It's just like doing chaturanga, right? So having this body position, right? Shoulders away from here. Trying to keep that energy, shoulder blades down. Same thing here in crow. I set up,
I think I'm almost putting some
shoulder blades down my back,
so that you have
right? And then none of that changes as
that
we
takes
go
the pressure out
forward.
of my wrist.
So all of a sudden, like, curl in. You'll know that as you feel it. So set up, pull your shoulder blades down.
Because that's, I did that before too.
100%.
I felt like I was
Okay, you want me to do it? You do it.
And I did the bank from that last
I'll
class.
try your hands a little bit wider. That's like a really narrow
Drop your ball.
base.
Yes. Nice.
The wider your foundation, and you don't want to go too wide, but the wider your foundation, the more stability there is. If your hands are like really together. That's awesome. That's awesome.
What was it?
I was
So I don't know how he's thinking. Was he saying like I?
jump back.
I can tell.
No. Just things down, and so that's why.
Brian, do you shift your weight
like I did it
when you pull the one leg off?
Very little shifting of weight. It's more, how much pressure can I put into this knee to make the other side lighter? What I don't want is my whole center of gravity to shift side to side. So if I'm going like this and trying to get my hips up to do this, it's not stable. So my body tries to move very little. All right?
Really probably putting your core like more on the left, the side.
Yeah, all of the energy is pouring into that knee.
You almost have to tighten up.
Oh yeah. Your core is never ever gonna be not tight.
Yeah.
Lonnie. That's my girl, yeah, she needs.
She wants to rock out her crow.
Her crow, I know she can hold it for like 50 seconds, she's just afraid. Captain, awesome, really nice.
Okay, good.
That was
Gaze
beautiful, you
forward.
know why?
Yep.
You kept your belly in, you kept your chin lifted.
Don't even try to lift your feet up. Yeah.
What do you do after that?
Awesome.
Yeah.
After that, okay.
Yes.
Then I like freak out and fall down.
You held it for like 10 seconds.
I know. Nice, Dawn. A little bit, I would say more bend in your elbows. Brian, what do you think? Look at Dawn. Is that Joy back there? Go ahead, Joy, shoot back, because you have a beautiful looking crow right there, yeah. Oh, you just make your toes, yeah.
That's
Press
awesome.
them.
I think that's a good bend in your elbows, like what you had there. Oh, good. Everybody else not landing?
I can see yours. What's she saying?
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
have Lulu and me?
Okay.
I was there
So,
the other day. I'm
your
waiting
knees
for
are
her to
falling
ship.
off to the side of your arm. There's not going to be any chance that you can actually lift them up.
All right, Tara, I really don't want to have your butt the whole time, so I'm going to just move
You
this.
know, and that's why I'm in the front.
So your knees have to be on that
You don't want my butt?
No.
At least I just have black pants on. You won't know it's my butt.
It's almost impossible to stay up to your pelvis. Awesome. Easy now. So cool.
Nice
All right,
girl.
more to come. That's awesome. You said you didn't do crow, right? Like,
Oh, yeah, no.
that's so good.
But I can't, I can only hold it for a few seconds on
No
the back of
problem.
my arm. I can hold it for a while on the other
Yeah,
side.
that's good.
But I couldn't do it at all before.
That's
Progress for me.
absolutely. All right, that was good. How do you guys feel? Tired? Save some energy, we got lots to do. All right, any more questions on crow, anything in regards to this? Because the good thing about communicating is that if it applies to you, it probably applies to everybody. You're just the one brave enough to ask. Anything? What's the big breakthrough somebody had?
Go wider.
Wider, yeah. So fingertips. Yeah, I was showing before, if you have a really narrow base, it becomes a lot unsteadier. So, it's obvious if you try to do everything on one hand, right, that's a lot different than having two powerful hands a little bit wider. So, for a lot of you, you guys think shoulder width is a lot narrower than it really is. And so I encourage you to go just even a bit wider than you think is right, because that makes it so much easier to have a solid foundation. Right? And then eventually, if you feel really good, your progression might be to get a little bit more narrow in your hands, right? And playing with that and see how that lands in your body. Yeah? Good. You guys did awesome on that one. Okay, next one that I want to land is, let's see, how do I do this? Let's do side crow. Okay. Side crow is a challenge for a lot of people because the setup can be, there's different ways to set up. But for actually a lot of people, when people learn the foundations of it, it's actually a lot easier than crow. Yeah. So, again, two ways that I like to show it, because one way is for somebody who's maybe never done side crow before. There's a lot more support and connection. Second way is for people who want to play with variations. Okay? So I'll show the first way. And so we come to crow from a deep squat, side crow. And if you can't see, come in close. The most key portion of side crow is this connection between my arm and my thigh knee area. This is what keeps me strong and connected through my whole pose. This goes, everything goes. So this is what I want you to focus on. Whatever side you go to, this power into the thigh knee area. So first variation is having 2 points of connection. One, right here, between the elbow and knee. Second is elbow to hip. 2 points of connection, 2 points of support for my body to come up. So I like to set up with everything connected before I actually put my hands down. If I try to put my hands down and then try to finagle my way in, where my body doesn't really land, I land my elbows where I want them to be, the pose. Stay with that connection, hands come down. Just like a seesaw again. Again, go wider for more stability here. Just like a seesaw. I keep my gaze up, my chest up. All of the weight is in my feet right now. I'm going to tip forward into my hands. Tip forward until my feet just come up. I'm not trying to lift my feet up. So big difference between this and trying to lift my feet up. Because then I'm not using that weight shift. Right? So resist the urge to try to get your feet up. Your feet will come up when they come up when you start shifting your weight more and more. So connected. Just keep moving slowly, steadily. I'm not even thinking, oh, feet just come up. Arms are in chaturanga. Shoulders never dip below my elbows. This is very common. This is bad for shoulders. Up here. Right? What I see quite often is people want to come into it so bad. So they set up, and then they go, this is so hard. Right? Because then I have to fight for my legs coming up. It's not easy, because my shoulders are already down. All this energy is already going down, which makes it harder for everything else to go up. So move really slowly. That's variation 1. 2 points of connection. Second variation for people who want to play with extending off of side crow is this is going to be the only point of connection. From that, this is free. I'm sitting here on my hands and on my feet. I take my hands down, shoulder width apart, gaze forward, chest up, and I just tip. I just tip, 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 till my feet come up. If you want to play with scissors, couple stages. 1, straighten the bottom leg. 2nd, lift the top knee up. 3rd, extend back into scissors. And if you want to jump to chaturanga, I lock everything in place, and again have that just commitment to shoot my legs back without altering anything in my upper body, without altering my shoulders. Yeah?
Now, are you squeezing your knees together when you first go, the first sideways?
Yeah.
Squeezing tight together?
Everything is, solidly squeezing in. And so anytime you separate energy, that brings more disconnection. Right? So everything else has to be really stable in order for you to separate your knees apart. That's why I like to break it down in stages if you're doing scissors. Stage 1, extend the bottom leg. Stage 2, create that separation without affecting your foundation. 3rd is the leg goes up. 4th, you shoot back. Any questions so far in side crow? Okay, so we'll land that, and then we'll do another arm balance, and we can tie it all together. And it's good to do both sides. We all have our favorite sides. And this is a function of your hip opening, right?